Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
And a very good morning to you. This is Newsline live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in downtown Colombo. And it's turning out to be a lovely day out there. And of course today all eyes and ears will be at what's going to happen in Parliament in Eto Kote. So to discuss parliamentary procedure and what happened in the last few days in Parliament, we've got none other than Mr. Lacille de Silva. Very good morning to you, Mr. de Silva.
Very good morning, Faraz. Good morning to you.
Thank you for being on our network. And look at all this. The whole place is, all the papers are only full of one thing, the chaos in Parliament. You know, well, the Salon today says that parliamentary expenditure is 25 million for each sitting, according to Rona Etiarachi, and who actually was supposed to be here today, but I think he's coming tomorrow. But what's going on, Lacille? Tell us, who's breaking the rules? What's happening?
I think everybody is responsible for this situation. You know, totally, the systems have been broken down.
Yeah.
They don't respect rules. They don't respect the constitution. They don't respect the standing orders. And parliamentary democracy has become a mockery, I would say. Let me also add, unless you adopt the procedures, the practices, the precedents, all that in Parliament, it has eventually led the country to anarchy almost, right? You need a country which is stable. You need a country which is, you know, people friendly. You need a country where they can definitely have faith in regard to their future. It is so very unfortunate they have disrupted. Say, let me say, is it a degenerated kind of a democracy? I don't know.
Well, it certainly does. It's certainly capturing the public's imagination.
Correct.
And the public's collective disgust at what's happened there. But more, I think, equally important is, why is one side, especially the UNP side, why are they so adamant to, you know, there's a saying, it says, gentlemen are never in a hurry. Well, there's an indecent hurry on the part of the UNP to disregard, apparently disregard procedure and try and pass this no confidence motion through and to wrest the government back into their hands. An interesting thought came up yesterday when somebody said that, look, don't you understand what is happening? The UNP are in a haste because they want, because Ranil Wickremesinghe knows that, you know, he thinks that he will, if he goes for parliament, for an election, he will lose. But the point is, he actually wants to go for an election. Correct. Because if he goes for an election, he can continue to be leader of the party. Whereas if they win the no confidence motion, the president has stated already that he will not appoint Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister, and he will seek another name, whoever it is, but not Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now, under the UNP's constitution, the Prime Minister, if a member of the UNP becomes the Prime Minister, then automatically the leadership of the party goes to that
particular person.
So whoever it is, whether it is Sajid Premadas or you know, whoever, because the president has made it very clear that he is not going to appoint Ranil Wickremesinghe. Do you think that is also a possibility? There are several scenarios.
Yeah, now, as you very rightly said, you know, maybe Ranil Wickremesinghe doesn't want to go for an election, general election, right? But the other way about, he prefers an election,
but he doesn't want to,
or a vote in Parliament, right?
Yes, but he actually, the real story is that he's doing all this to create a political impasse. So because he knows that whilst he's, you know, if they win the no confidence motion in Parliament, fair and square, nevertheless the Prime Minister, the President has expressed his displeasure about Ranil Wickremesinghe as Prime Minister, and he said, I'm not going to work with him.
Yeah, but let me say it this way, you know, everybody is contributory, in the sense contributing to all this. Now, even if the President doesn't want to give him the premiership, right, there were enough grounds. President could have dealt with the Prime Minister long before all this happened, right? It is so very unfortunate it has come to a situation, impasse, right? The biggest problem right now at the moment, even if the President doesn't want to give the Prime Minister, right? Unfortunately, with regard to this no confidence motion or dissolution of Parliament, all that has eventually created a lot of problems in the country.
But it's interesting, isn't it, Lacille? If we, I've got a little card made up of an article that appeared on the 29th of March 2004, when Alex Perry from Time magazine asked then President Chandrika Kumaratunga why she called for elections. And look, it's on the card here. If we can play that card here, they've got the logo wrong. It's not Times magazine, it's Time magazine. But nevertheless, that's what it is there. And word for word almost, it's what the President said about his problem with the same man, with none other than Ranil Wickremesinghe as the Prime Minister. I'm trying to read that to you. And it says, the question was, what was the immediate reason for calling an election? And President Kumaratunga said, I was forced into it by a total breakdown of cohabitation in government. The Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe, was determined to harass me and chase me out. He has only one obsession. He wants to be the President. And he does not seem to care what happens to the country in the process. We came to an impossible impasse. The only way to resolve it was to ask the people for a mandate. That was Times, Alex Perry at President's House in Colombo on the 29th of March 2004. It's not something I made up. It's there.
It is the same here, same story I would say, because there is a terrible mismatch. Probably the President also had said, as you very rightly said, that he is not in a position to work with him.
Yes.
There appears to be huge issues, right? So,
well, there are. I mean, I got a thing here, it said about the corruption and so on.
Yeah, but the problem is, government is expected to go into various ills, economy, social, all that, right? Yeah. Now, there is a problem where they don't address all those issues. Things are getting aggravated, going from bad to worse. Now, the biggest problem, in a situation where they can't resolve this issue, right? I believe time has come for the President, the Prime Minister, there are two Prime Ministers according to Ranil Wickremesinghe. Yeah. So whatever said and done, it's a waste of time, right? There are issues that need to be resolved because the Parliament must get back, though they do not perform their legitimate duties, right? It is mainly because the Parliament is totally, in another way, defunct, in the sense not properly functioning. So you have to create situations where the Parliament is back in action. It is so very unfortunate people rely so much on the leadership and voted them into power. From that day onward, they promised everything, right? Yeah. Say, taking legal action against those corrupt, say, politicos in the last government. And similarly, these people again came back having promised all that. Unfortunately, they have even gone beyond that. But ultimately, the people are at a loss. Now, look at us, people like us. We really feel so embarrassed that the country is now in the eyes of the foreigners. They have commented. I mean, it's so sad. Why are they doing that? This is a matter that needs to be resolved, and this matter has to be sorted out. It is so very unfortunate they take up the same issue over and over again. I don't know why they can't go for a permanent, after all the standing orders are very clear, right? They had gone and, you know, I mean even last time when they went before the parliament, right? Standing orders were suspended. It is not that way, right? The Secretary General also has to advise the Speaker, and it appears that the Speaker does not listen to him, right? You can't be arrogant that way. You have to conform to the rules, regulations and all that. Come down to business.
But let's say, what I'm trying to say to you is, if you examine the record of Ranil Wickremesinghe, right, it is one of complete manipulation.
Yeah, correct.
Which other leader who has served for 24 years and overseen several electoral losses at different fora of different electoral platforms has managed to be the leader?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the people. To me, it means that the UNP, he has managed to manipulate his way and stay in power, and that's what he's doing now. He doesn't really want a no confidence motion in Parliament because he knows that if they go for election, you know, he knows that if they win the no confidence motion, the president, who has already stated openly he will not appoint Ranil Wickremesinghe as a prime minister, which means that the UNP will then have to make a call and nominate somebody else. Okay. And that somebody else will become not only the prime minister, but also the leader of the party, and then come to the elections and so on. That's the end of Ranil Wickremesinghe's leadership of the party.
Actually, Ranil Wickremesinghe, now for all purposes, I think we discussed the same thing even last time, the 19th Amendment, right?
Yes.
I know it was a crafty manipulation, right? You have to blame everybody because now see, there's a provision that you can't dissolve Parliament for 4.5 years. I mean, that's totally unacceptable in a democracy because...
That's right. And unfortunately, the Supreme Court didn't address that problem when Govindas intervened during those proceedings, and they were silent on that matter. But were they silent because they felt that 33(2)(c) was there?
Probably that may have been one other reason also, I don't know. But in my view, right, actually they should never have passed that law, the 19th Amendment, those relevant clauses, because I know the relevant authority, the officials also had brought that into, say, brought to the notice of the relevant authorities.
Right.
But they took it so lightly. This is unfortunately the problem in this country. You know, they have to sit down to business, they have to run governance properly, they have to be at it. Unfortunately, these people have never concentrated on all that because, you know, they don't have the sense of duty and above all the passion to take the country forward, do something for the benefit of the people. So very unfortunate. All those had eventually led to a situation. It's almost, I mean, a failed state, you know.
Indeed. There's another thing which not many people are aware of, but Ranil Wickremesinghe's leadership of the United National Party expired in September 2018. Not many people know that. But that's another thing. This is what I'm saying, that this is all, in my view, and there is growing support of that this is all a manipulation, because actually Ranil doesn't want to win this no confidence motion. He's manipulating this into a political impasse, like Chandrika said back in 2004.
No, they are purely keen in one thing, right? Both parties, whether it is, you know, the Pohot tour, or I mean all three, SLFP or even UNP, right? Actually, they have an agenda to look after their interests because there were a lot of allegations against the previous government and they want power back again, right? Ranil Wickremesinghe also wants the same thing. But can't they also be concerned a lot more about the burning issues of the people, right? So it is so very unfortunate. I believe, in my personal view, I think the people want an election right now because that will eventually pave the way. If possible, they will elect a group of people who are not corrupt, who are probably a lot more concerned about the basic issues. I mean, the burning issues of the people. It is so very unfortunate people have such a lot of problems. It is
As you know, on Newsline we encourage you to send SMSs 0772 300 305. Now here's one that's echoing what you're saying, Lacille de Silva. Sri Lanka is a presidential democracy. Can the 19th Amendment claim to have trimmed presidential powers without a referendum of the people as ruled by the Supreme Court?
No, actually, if it is a referendum again, it will be a total, say, about 400 odd billions rupees, you know. Yeah. Unfortunately, you might be able to hold an election, right? That's left to the Supreme Court. I don't want to discuss all that.
What this viewer is talking about is the whole process, not about the specific case that is now within before the Supreme Court. What it's talking about is that about the 19th Amendment and the 4.5 year putting the franchise on hold, for 4.5 years.
You can't do that, you know. I think even the Supreme Court, I don't know whether there is provision in a situation like this, right? There, you know, it comes to a situation whether the Supreme Court can interfere into legislation that was enacted by Parliament.
Yes.
Because I remember Andhra Bandaranaike took up the position that the Supreme Court cannot order, right?
Yes.
So unfortunately, these three different institutions have to be given independence. You know, they should function independently.
But I think, you know what, I'm a little bit muddle-headed in this, but I think that this thing is a bit half-baked. Why couldn't everything, not only partially, why couldn't everything, the most sensible thing would have been to wait till the 7th of December? Why this indecent hurry to have a no confidence motion, this, that and the other, cause chaos, chili powders, we'll come to that in a minute, and so on. Why couldn't they wait? Come on. There are people in the East have waited 18 months over their time period for elections. No one is talking about Parliament's efforts to frustrate those elections. Thanks to Faisal Mustafa and others, they manipulated and went on and on and on and on and on and on. And how many times it's been on this program?
No, this is the thing. It's a case of denial of democracy, I would say, right?
A denial of
democracy, right?
Yes, I like that.
It is so very unfortunate, right? You have to hold elections at the proper time. Unfortunately, these people have been postponing every single election, and they resort to various devious means in order to delay elections, right? Now, it has come to a boiling point.
And now, because it's come to boiling point, perhaps, and in terms of the call led by President Sirisena, that they follow due procedure and due process, something that the United National Party seems unable to do.
You know, since I have been involved in corruption, I would say it this way, right? Actually, when the central bank was, you know, robbed during daylight, right? I believe the president should have taken action then and there. I went personally and spoke to the president and said, sir, give all the powers for our commission to investigate all that, right? Unfortunately, all that was due to, say, they did dilly-dally.
The remit was for a different period in time.
Right. Now, basically, I personally feel if you take proper steps at the proper time, right, none of the problems could have cropped up, right? Even without.
But you see the nature of this president appears to me to be that he got into a partnership and he thought, right, okay, let's give them a chance.
Yeah,
each time he did that, what happened was, you know, he used the right word in Sinhalese. He said morandu.
Yeah.
You know, I think that means stubborn.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that Chandrika Kumaratunga was talking.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, because we're talking about the law, and let's just remind ourselves what this chap by the name of Barack said the other day, some time ago. Well, let's play that. Let's hear that.
But the law is the law. And no one person is above the law, not even the president.
President Barack Obama said, the law is the law.
Yeah.
I can win, but I can't contest.
Definitely.
The law is the law.
Yeah.
You know, I just thought play that.
You have to have people who think democratically, you know, like Obama. It is so very unfortunate now in our country, right? There were issues and people were found fault with. I mean, they should bow down and step out. Yeah. All that doesn't happen here in this country. Let me say it the other way about. It is so very unfortunate, right? When there were evidence or when there was a direct finger pointed at even Prime Minister, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't the President take that issue up at the proper time or even at late stage, you know, before dealing with this, you know, removing the President or whatever, Prime Minister, right? It could have been a better thing in my view, right? It is so very unfortunate, like Mr. President Obama says, you know, law is the law. In our case, we have the laws, but they are not being enforced. This is the problem. So very
or
unfortunate.
are they being subverted
Yeah.
to suit the personal agendas of a few, At, the expense of the many?
Definitely, and the people are suffering due to all that, right? People are suffering. They should now probably give a chance, and they should step out, right?
Yeah.
They should give it to people who will definitely be able to enforce the law. If that is done, probably we might be able to take this country forward.
Here's an interesting comment from a member of the public. Are we going to elect the same set of goons and buffoons to Parliament as the same set will contest again? The people don't have a choice. It's Hobson's choice.
It's a good question, right? Let me say we are building up a forum where everybody will come forward genuinely who are ethical, moral, so that there'll be a forum built very soon. Yeah. Probably even for the presidential elections, we will have one of our candidates. Yeah. We will come forward even for the general elections. Right. That is what we think, because we are really frustrated, and a good question.
Good question. But so how do we address that good question?
Let me say,
yeah.
we are building up a forum so that everybody could come together. Let them be on one side, Port Tour, UNP, SLFP, everybody, and we will be in a different forum so that people will be able to trust the new forum, because we will be leading that group, and I'm sure we will not be able to say, you know, we will be able to compete with them, because we have people who are clean, who are concerned about the country. We want the place opened up for, you know, say, not the kind of nepotism, corruption, you know, mismanagement, fraud, yes. All that, right?
Now then, I want to ask you this, just a quick thought.
Yes, please.
When they, however out of procedure it is, or however flippant their attempts, when they try and pass a no confidence motion against the Prime Minister and his government, that implies that they accept that that person is the Prime Minister, right? Right? But they do, because they're saying we have no confidence in the Prime Minister and his government. Then I want to ask you, my question is not that. My question is, then what on earth is he doing at Temple Trees? That's the official residence of the Prime Minister.
You know, now it appears they have come out with a different slogan: democracy, this, that, and all that, right? In a democratic country, they should learn, because they have been there in politics for the last 40 odd years, right? Say, four decades altogether. Respect. Now, when there is a point, there is a difficulty that they have been named, right? They should respect the law, they should respect the people. If possible, the best thing could have been just to step out. And that kind of things doesn't happen here in this country.
But don't you think, I get this feeling that in the guise of democracy, these so-called Democrats, I call them pseudo-Democrats, they are actually only using democracy as a special purpose vehicle to achieve what they want, which is endemic corruption and enriching themselves at the expense of the masses. I mean, you know, Newsfirst's campaign for people to think before they vote did work, because various undesirable elements were left out of the 2015 Parliament. But unfortunately, they were all brought in through the back door.
Yeah, but now see, when you have to break rules, break laws, break all the promises, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no legitimate government, right?
Yeah.
It is so very unfortunate. Again, this is a government, probably everybody. I don't think there is no legitimacy in the whole system. So they need to be concerned about all that, right? There are other issues that need to be addressed. And if possible, I don't know, even the president must be bold enough, you know, to take these.
I would like the president to consider these points that I received, you know, wrote it down. The central bank bond saga, in spite of President Sirisena asking Ranil Wickremesinghe not to nominate his friend, he appointed his friend Arjuna Mahendran. At the end of the day, they stole a minimum of 40 billion rupees, with a B, 40 billion rupees from the people. The Sri Lankan Airlines aircraft cancellation deal was a $100 million loss to the country, to the people basically. The Hambantota port deal is $1,000 million deal. Some say that the bribe was 8% or 80 million, some say. The Central Expressway deals were in spite of Ranil's own instructions to his ministers dated the 30th of March 2015 that as a matter of policy, unsolicited bids should not be entertained. But this $1,000 million transaction, they ignored that. And it is Ranil Wickremesinghe himself to sign off on the letter to start negotiations with the bank, with the Japanese bank, to get a loan. Do you know, this is in peacetime. The insurance premium was 10.04%. After the war, they brought it down to 6%. And then there is that other deal, where the ETI, where's the money to pay the depositors?
Yeah.
What's happened to that? They promised. So I think I'd like the president to consider all these things, because at the end of the day, in a presidential system of democracy, it is the president it is his government. And so therefore, surely it is within his purview and his remit to choose the Prime Minister who he thinks can do the job.
Yeah, because President himself, again, constitutionally, he is answerable to Parliament and he is answerable to people, right? It is very important, as you very rightly said, if he thinks that he will not be able to reappoint Ranil Wickremesinghe for good reasons, right?
Yeah.
What he needs to ensure proper service delivery, the state should be run, you know, I mean, the state institutions must be managed better. It is very unfortunate, everything had almost dysfunctional to a great extent. Could we ensure without any problem? Unfortunately, if they can ensure better delivery of services, restore good governance, all what they had promised, you know, independence of the judiciary, all that is apparently what is people wanted. All that should be ensured. It is so very unfortunate. Now we are in a situation where things are not being sorted out.
Yeah.
As a country, what can they do to resolve this issue without any further delay? Without any further delay.
Without any further delay. What do you think will, I mean, you know, the standing orders, can you tell us what happens today? We've only got a few minutes,
Yeah.
well, about a minute, but very quickly, what should happen today in Parliament? The President has said that he needs it either by electronics or by name.
Yeah, but I don't know if that is the case. They should follow the standing orders. You know, they must hand over the no confidence motion,
Yeah.
put it in the order book,
Yeah.
give 5 clear days. After that, they should fix up another date, probably within the next few
It says 5 working days.
5 clear working days, yes.
So no holidays like tomorrow?
No, Saturdays, Sundays, public holidays, all that excluded.
Is there a provision for a floor test?
Yeah, but I mean,
Still they must give all these notifications.
you can also suspend the standing orders, but not for a thing like this, in my view, you know.
Yes, because that's a little bit unethical.
Yeah, because, you know, this is a situation, not just another, I mean, this
It's
is
not a bill.
This is not a bill. This is about an election of a new government, let me say it that way, right? So naturally, like even Ranil Wickremesinghe, all of them said they wanted to pursue the policies of Lacille systems, right?
Yeah.
It is always better if it could be negotiated, discussed, and that's what the parliamentary business committee is there for. I believe everybody should respect rules, regulations, and conform to all that, and then work out a settlement without creating all that, say unnecessary sort of problems
But
on
that
the floor
would
of the House.
mean that would mean the end of Mr. Wickremesinghe's leadership. In
Yeah,
the National Party.
but the country, whether whoever the person who leads the party or whatever, is not the biggest problem. Actually, we need a good government to run the country better. It is very unfortunate the country is in a mess, because at the moment there is no particular government in power. Everybody, say, with so much of issues, trying to sort of establish their authority.
Said with a great deal of sadness and apprehension.
Definitely.
Lacille, thank you very much.
Thank you
I must
very
go
much.
because they're calling me. That's it. Thank you very much for watching Newsline. That's the way it was on Monday, the 19th of November 2016. Do tune in, 2018. Do tune in to News First, Sirsa Shakti at TV1. We'll bring you all the news as and when it happens. Do take care. Have an excellent week ahead, and God bless you.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.